I've generated over 250,000 inquiries for B2B service providers and SaaS, and the shocking thing about that is that it was actually way easier than you would think, and it was achieved by following 3 simple steps. And the purpose of this video is to walk you through what those 3 steps are so that you yourself can set up a predictable and reliable client acquisition machine so you can stop worrying about client acquisition and start worrying about growing your business.
Oh yeah. Fuck yeah!
Now, in 2018, I had a video production company. It was doing okay. It relied entirely on network and referrals, but I couldn't control my client acquisition. And the annoying thing was, I was watching all these videos and listening to these gurus and taking all the advice and doing it, and I was really busy, but none of it actually worked. It was really frustrating. Now, in hindsight, I figured out what the problems were. The first problem was my messaging just didn't feel right. People didn't really understand what I was doing. It wasn't appealing what I was selling because I was trying to sell the thing, like video production. The second problem was I had no system to bring in inquiries on a reliable basis. And then the third problem was I didn't have a system for the people who came in. I didn't know what I was doing with them once they came in. It was just a guessing game, like here's what we do. They might say yes, they might say no. I had very little control. Now I figured out these 3 points, and these are the 3 points that you need to figure out if you want to get to that point of controlling client acquisition. So we used to do a lot of lead generation where we'd look at companies' websites to figure out if they are qualified, and if they were qualified, we would reach out to them. And I'm going to tell you in a second how we reached out to them, exactly how we reached out to them, because that's part of generating inquiries. But quite often we found that when we looked through someone's website, we spend 5 minutes reading their website and have no idea what it is they did.
This website, it's just a picture and then words that, do you know what? You need a degree to understand them.
And that's the first problem. Most people's messaging is far too complicated. It focuses on selling features or the thing that you do rather than the outcome. And in many instances, you're trying to sound bigger and better than yourself, so using really complicated language that no one really wants to hear. So the first thing we need to do is to clarify our marketing messaging and just make it simple. And the first step of that is to generate a really, really simple offer. Now, offers are just a way of packaging what your service is in a desirable way that's very easy to understand. And the best way to do this is by using this structure here. We help target audiences as they describe themselves achieve some sort of tangible outcome in a specific defined time period to ground that statement with whatever your unique delivery mechanism is, and that's unique to you, without them having to do something they're currently doing that they hate. That's how you structure an offer. So once we structure our offer, we then need to put that offer in places where we can start accelerating the conversion rates of our existing channels. Because the first thing we want to do is we just want to improve upon what we've already got. If you're watching this video, you probably already have a business, you probably have a website, you're probably already doing stuff. But what we need to do is we need to make all that stuff way more effective, because that's the lowest hanging fruit. It costs nothing. So what we want to do first is we want to create a high converting landing page. Now I have a video on this channel which talks through exactly how you make a high converting landing page, but this is what it looks like. All we're going to do is we're going to take the messaging that we have and what we understand about our target audience, and we're going to put all that into little boxes so everything's portrayed to them with ease. Now, I found over the years that the biggest factor in terms of success for marketing campaigns, be that ads, manual outreach, no matter what it is, the biggest factor of success isn't the tactics, it isn't the funnel, it isn't any of that stuff. It's very simply what the offer is, who you're pitching and what you're pitching to them. If those 2 things link up, everything's very easy. If they don't link up, everything's really hard. Hence me being in that position of my video production company not really working. So we get our offer sorted. The next big problem is that, yeah, okay, now we have an offer, fantastic, well done. We've changed our website and that should now convert more highly, but how do I create a sales engine machine so that we can get inquiries coming in, get sales calls consistently in the diary? Well, there are 3 core ways we can do that. Now, the first way we're going to start generating some sales calls is with something called a pipeline reactivator. The easiest people to sell to are people who are in your network or people you've already spoken to about your service, just never took the dive. So what we're going to do is we're going to go after them first. Now, the pipeline reactivator, what we want to do is we want to use some really basic principles of marketing called scarcity and urgency. Now, scarcity means there's only a limited amount of something available, and urgency means it's only available for a limited period of time. You'll see these be used in marketing campaigns all the time. If you use them in conjunction, they're even more effective. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up a limited time offer that's only available to a limited amount of people. So let's say this is specific to you. Let's say 3 people is all we can handle in a month. So it's only available to 3 people, and we're going to offer a discount or additional services for free or something like that, or some sort of unique payment plan. But that's only available for the next 7 days. So you have a limited time offer. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go onto social media and we're going to post that publicly. So a single image post on LinkedIn, a video on Instagram, it doesn't matter what it is, explaining we have this limited offer, and then you use the words from the offer that we just generated and you pitch that to people in public. Next up, we take our list of people who are in our network who might be interested in our product or service, or who have email contacts for because they previously provided them to us. We're going to DM them on LinkedIn and we're going to email them, and we're just going to say, hey, and we're not pitching to the actual people. We're going to say, hey, I have this offer, it's available for the next time period, it's only available for X amount of people. Do you know anyone who would be interested? So we're not pitching them, we're asking if they know anyone who's interested. Now, because the offer is framed with their pains and desires, it should resonate with them, but we're not asking them directly. So often what you'll find is people will say, yeah, that would be useful to me. But people can also recommend you on to other people, but it's more likely they themselves will want it. Now, not everyone's going to respond, and people often don't respond on the first point of contact. 3 points of contact is ideal for this type of outreach. So we do it on a Monday, and then we do it midway through the week, and then we do it on the following Monday just before it's going to end, and we repeat the cycle. So a post on social media, contact them via DM and email, and we repeat that 3 times. And what we're doing is we're asking if anyone they know would benefit from that service. Later, we can also automate this process in private, which I go through in the Control Growth Framework if you want to know a little bit more. So that's the pipeline reactivator. We go after warm leads because they are the lowest hanging fruit and the easiest way to get some calls in and also some closes. Next up, we've done outreach to our warm audience. Now we're going to do outreach to a cold audience. The reason we're doing it in this order is because the pipeline reactivator is free and highly effective. The prospecting playbook, where we reach out to strangers cold, is very, very low cost, slightly less effective. And the ads masterclass is extremely effective, but costs money. So we're working our way down to give us stability. We generate the offer, we put in things to turn that offer into calls. Then we start promoting that through free means to a really highly warmed up audience, by free means to a cold audience, and then once these two are working, we start doing it with ads as well. We prove each step of the process before we move on to the next step. So the prospecting playbook. What we're going to do is we're going to use LinkedIn Sales Navigator to find people in our target audience. Then we're going to go through that list and just qualify people out to make sure they are definitely the right people in our target audience. Then we're going to connect with people who are qualified. Not everyone's going to accept. You don't need to add a connection request, but send a connection request to everyone who appears to be qualified. Next up, in terms of our LinkedIn, we want to start posting organically fairly frequently. Here's a little cadence I've given you. There are 3 types of content. There's content that helps your profile grow. This is generally hero stories, stuff about yourself, selfies, stories, anything like that. Then you have educational content, so stuff that helps educate people. Generally speaking, I mean, this example had quite a few views, but generally speaking, this stuff gets less engagement, but it helps educate your existing audience. And then we have stuff which looks to convert people or capture their lead information and turn them into paying clients. This is a cadence you can use. We want to give away more than we ask. So we give away 4 times a week and we ask once a week. There's a little cadence you can follow. So what we're going to do is we'll connect with people on LinkedIn. The people who we connect with, we're not going to pitch them our service, we're going to pitch them some sort of a lead magnet. Now, we've done this in a few ways before. We've given away free courses. So, hey, I achieved XYZ result for XYZ client. This is how we did it. I put together a video showcasing that. Would you like to see it? So we're not asking them onto a call, we're just giving them something for free. The other way we can do it is say, I've looked through your website, found a few things that you could change to improve conversion rates. This is an example for us for advertising. You would do a similar thing for your situation. Do you want me to send over a video explaining, right? Here's a quick example, right? So that's how we do that. Then we also capture their email using a service called hunter.io. And then with hunter.io, we can send out an email like this. Same thing, we're not pitching them a service or a call because that's really high intent, requires a lot of commitment. Instead, we're pitching them something low. Like all they need to do is respond to the message. And if they respond to the message, they get something of value for them. Then that thing of value upsells them to some sort of a call, right? Okay, once that starts running, what we'll do is we'll have the prospecting playbook up. We'll have content being posted. Now, some of this content is trying to grow our audience. Some of it is asking people to get in contact with us. So here's how I generated 250,000 leads, blah, 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 blah. I'm looking for 2 companies that are looking to do X, Y, Z. We're using that same thing we did with Reactivator in public. DM me, offer details, summer, spring, whatever that may be, to learn a little bit more. So what we're going to do is we're going to get people to message us as well. So we're reaching out to people and we're putting content out there asking people to reach out to us. That should then start generating yet again more calls. But once that starts working, you might have realized that if you do manual outreach, it's very time intensive, and it works, but it's slow. We need something faster. So the way we step up to the next level is the ads masterclass. So once our offer is working and we have our conversion accelerator things in, we've got a pipeline reactivator working, we have the prospecting playbook up by reaching out to people, we then have the ads masterclass where we set up a system on LinkedIn or Facebook to start converting people. Now, the way that this works is we'd run ads to our offer, and then we'd either send them to a lead generation form, and then once they fill out that lead generation form to claim the offer, we send them to a page with a video that explains the offer and allows them to book a time for a call. Alternatively, we can send them to our high converting landing page that we set up way back in the conversion accelerator over here, right? So that's how we start running ads. There's a few different ways you can do this, and I'm not going to go into this in loads of depth because there are other videos on the channel that go into the ads section. But basically, we want most of our traffic to go to a cold audience promoting our offer, and then we need remarketing in there to remarket to people who don't convert. Other videos on the channel cover that. So that's how to get calls into the diary. But the next problem is you get calls into the diary, but people don't show up to the calls. People don't show up to the calls, people don't convert on the calls, etc., because they're from a cold audience, so why would they? It's not network and referrals anymore, you're not in Kansas anymore. So what do we do to improve that? Because we can improve that, and this is the big step that people miss out on. So, building trust and making them convert. Firstly, we want to nurture people on autopilot. So we don't want to, basically, there's this rule, right? 7-hour rule. People need to interact with you for 7 hours to feel comfortable enough to convert. You can decrease that 7 hours by interacting with people in different contexts, in different places. That's called multiple hits. So if we get people exposed to our content in loads of different places and we build up our time with that person, they should have more trust with us and they're more likely to buy. So what we're going to do is anyone who converts on our ads, we're going to set up remarketing campaigns, and we're just going to throw content into a bucket. Content that educates, informs. We can boost those posts from earlier. So these posts that we were doing over here when we get people to DM us, we boost those through thought leadership ads. And essentially we're just constantly getting in front of people, even those that converted. So even if they convert and we have a call book with them, we still want them to be hit with this content so they can keep seeing us in their feed. We can also send direct messages to people automatically with LinkedIn for anyone who's interacted with our content very recently. We can do the same thing on Facebook to make it feel like we're following them around the internet so they become more and more familiar with us. That's the Nurture Autopilot. That is 100% automatic. You set it up once, you never have to do anything again. It's very, very, very low cost. You can also do Nurture Autopilot without doing the Ads Masterclass. You don't need to do this to make this work because we are generating traffic through content and through our manual outreach strategies over here, and through whatever else you've got. Now finally, how do we make sure people show up to the call? We're doing this automatic stuff over here, but how do we make sure people show up to the call and close? Well, this is called the follow-up flow. So what we do is if leads are unscheduled, you follow this process, but most of the time leads should schedule, and the reason they should is because if you follow this high converting landing page sequence, the scheduler is built into the sequence. They almost have to get through the process. But there is a sequence to do. I'm not going to go through that now in too much detail. Next most important thing is to make sure people show up to the call. So most people get a call and they leave it. They go, okay, cool, I'm just going to wait till the call happens, and then people don't show up to the call and they wonder why. What we're going to do is first off, we're going to remind them that they have the call, and we want to do that with 3 points. One, immediately after they book. One, it's meant to be 2 days before the appointment with a text and email, and then one 3 hours before, right? We also need to sell the call. So whilst we're reminding them of the call, we need to sell the call to them. So ideally, you don't want the call to be too far out from when they booked. 48 hours is ideal, can be 36. You don't want it to go too much further than that. 48 hours, whatever height, 3 days is like the longest you should go with. So what we're going to do is once they book their call, we're going to set them into an automatic sequence of emails. These emails, it's roughly 8 to 12 emails within a 48-hour time period. You might think that sounds like a lot, it does, but we need to build trust with these people. What these people are going to be doing in the time period between them booking a call and speaking to you is they're probably looking at other people. They might be looking a little bit more into your service. Like they want to know more, and that's the reason they book the call. And sometimes you don't even need to book them. We want to give them all the information they look for. So we need to build trust. We give them freebies. We need to explain how the system works. So just a video saying this is exactly how it works. Give away more free stuff, show portfolio reviews, case studies, things like that, just to build trust. That will sell them into the call and increase your schedule rates. Then we have the call. Awesome. How do we turn that into business? Well, first off, obviously you have to do sales, but secondly, what we're going to do is we're going to add any decision makers at companies we've spoken to into these nurture autopilot campaigns, so that every decision maker in the company we're speaking to is seeing our company over and over again. So when they have internal discussions, everyone already knows who you are because they're seeing you every day in their social media feeds. We're also going to send a very quick summary of what we're going to do for that person to them via Loom. So we record a video explaining what it is we've just had a call with, or explaining our pitch. It can be pre-recorded if you want, and we send that to them after the call. Then we add them on social media so that they can see our organic content over here, right? Next up, we send them more case studies and we send them prep emails. So if you're going to work with us, you need to get these things sorted. Takes you 5 minutes, it'll benefit you even if you don't work with us. Then we want to make sure we book in a follow-up call, little pointer, add emojis to all your calendar invites. No one else does that, so you stand out in their calendar. And then we want to also issue value-driven follow-up. So at least once a week, we want to follow up with them, offering them more free shit. So that's that. Then finally, we want to, if they get to like 30 or 60 days or however long your sales cycle is, if they get to an end of a time period where it looks like they're not going to close, you put them back into the reactivator. So this is a private version of the reactivator over here, where we email them, SMS them and voicemail them, and we do that asking if they'd like to be part of a case study. And it's the same thing. We have limited spaces, it's a limited time offer, but basically we're trying to take people who couldn't take action, make the decision, and we're forcing their hand at making a decision. After they go through Reactivator, just add them to an email mailing list. That is the Control Growth Framework, which is a system that's predictably generated over 250,000 leads over the last 4 years for B2B service providers and SaaS. We've used it ourselves, we've used it for clients. If you want to learn a little bit more about the intricacies about how this works, or you want me to teach this to you or help you implement it, there is a link below. You can book time with me for free, or just learn more about the system. Either way though, I really hope this video has helped, and if it has and you don't want to learn more about this but you want to learn a little bit more, there's a video here you can watch which covers how you set up the ads section. Obviously the ads I didn't go through in too much detail, but this video here covers exactly how you get those ads set up, which is how you really skyrocket this and take off.